We're just going to give people another few minutes to join. Please be patient. We're just going to be giving everybody about another 4 more minutes to, gather their thoughts and everybody to join. So just sit here and be patient with us, please. Gather your thoughts if you're trying to speak. All that good stuff.
We'll also have Grim singing for you whilst you wait.
No.
Instead of elevator music. Come on, Grim.
All right, so I think we'll get started. Hopefully everyone's here. If not, they'll flood in. Um, so this meeting's probably not going to be the longest. It's really just wanting to hear from the community. We did push it back a week, so there's probably some more things that weren't brought up uh, in like the chat and stuff like that. So we're obviously going to be monitoring it during the meeting as well. I'm already seeing a lot of things flooding in there. There's one point that people were discussing it earlier in the chat, and it's something I want to bring up as well, which was just in general about improving RP and specifically about bank jobs and cop and crim interactions. There's some points I want to bring up on that. I think everybody can kind of agree that, like, you know, we just want the best RP for everybody. And in terms of that, like, crims are always learning, cops are always learning, and I think we should all try to kind of have a more understanding perspective on that. You know, sometimes some people do make mistakes. Sometimes a cop might accidentally, you know, do something that doesn't follow protocol, or sometimes a crim might accidentally, you know, request something or not, you know, follow the proper procedures as well. And everybody does make mistakes, and I just kind of want us to all, you know, learn from them and become a better environment for that. A specific point that was like brought to my attention was with certain demands that criminals were making for hostages. And that was something that I was asked to bring up at the community meeting. So, in terms of uh, one of the new rules we're implementing, which has already kind of been started in the city, is you can only request for one of either no off road vehicles or no Air One. You can't request both of those things, because if you do, it kind of just it's basically an impossible situation for. Oh, can people not hear me?
I was just making sure. I think it was just that one individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, you can only request either no off road or no Air One, because it just creates basically an impossible situation for cops and PD if you're driving an off road vehicle up a mountain or into the forest, for example. If you're requesting no off road for PD and no Air One, it's a really quick thing. Uh, it's impossible for them to catch you, and we want to make it a balanced situation where, you know, crims and cops both have, you know, an opportunity to come out on top. And it's something we're always monitoring and looking at. So that's one of the new rules that we're going with demands. And there's also a demand that I've heard recently in the last few days to a week, which is certain criminals have been requesting no tasers to be used, which is another thing that we want to kind of shut down now, because if you're asking for no tasers, it's you're kind of not giving them any choice other than to use lethal force, which you obviously don't want cops to just shoot you for no reason. So I don't think, like, we're trying to aim for more realistic demands. And we don't want it to get to a point where we have to actually list out what demands are valid and what aren't, because we want people to be creative with their demands. But it's just, at the same time, requesting certain things that kind of ruin the RP and ruin the experience for both parties, that kind of falls under power gaming to an extent. And we want to kind of, just like I said, keep everything balanced, keep everything fun, because at the end of the day, it's not even about who wins and who loses. It's really just more about making sure everybody has a good experience. Um, okay, so someone said, okay, you do a Fleeka, you can only carry 20 gold bars, which is nets around 20K. If not, you got to fine over 20K. Yeah, I think that's 100% intentional. The fine and the risk you're facing as a criminal should always be more than the reward of actually doing it successfully. If you make 20K from robbing a bank, the fine should be more than 20K, because, or else you wouldn't actually be losing anything for doing it, because you would just be risking what you get in profit anyways. So I think the fine should, like, it's the whole mentality of, like, you can't pay the fine, don't do the crime, or can't do the time, whatever. I think the fine should be more than what you aim to get out of it, because that's the whole idea of criminal life. In terms of actually the reward from it, that is something that we are monitoring as well. But I don't think it'll ever be that the reward is actually more than punishment. Um, how is using a vehicle into water to swap to boats considered fail RP? Well, I mean, basically, like driving, like the thing we've said that is fail RP is driving a boat, or sorry, driving a car, off a bridge into water, because in real life, like that wouldn't be valuing your life. You are risking, driving yourself in a car, killing yourself, and it's just not realistic at all. The only reason it works is because we're playing a GTA, and things like that are able to work. So that's why we consider that fail RP. You can drive up to water, get out of your car, get onto a boat. That's not fail RP. It's driving like car first into the water, trying to get out. It definitely doesn't seem realistic to us. So allow players to browse a list of cars, houses available to purchase. We are taking a look at that to come up with a solution. I have been in talks with the owner of PDM. He has an idea for allowing people to kind of see what cars are available, and with real estate. So what houses are available to purchase is every house in the city is available to purchase. So if there's a house you want, you can ask a real estate agent about it, and the only thing that'll stop you from being able to purchase it is if somebody else already owns it. Yeah, give us carry. I don't think that. I mean, things like that, like, are definitely not on the high priority list right now. There's a lot of big issues we're trying to solve, and things that are kind of taking priority on the server, and something like, fun, like being able to carry someone. While we already have the like escort feature and things like that, I feel like carry is more, I don't know, it's more of just like a fun little thing to be used. So have you guys thought about making the fines less and the time in prison longer? So I don't know, because that's always the tough debate. Because I'm gonna be honest, we get a lot of complaints that people hate spending time in prison. They don't enjoy it in there, and it's not extremely fun. And the way I see it is, you could have a lot more fun making money and coming up with creative ways to make money to pay the fines, versus just like spending time in prison and doing the limited things that we have in prison. But so it's kind of finding that balance. I mean, we can maybe, like, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Maybe we can look into possibility of having the option, like more prison time, less fine, or just taking the higher fine and less prison time for people who like hate being in prison. It's kind of, like I said, it's all a balance, and there should be new fines and prison times coming out soon anyways. So I think all the numbers are changing anyways. So command, does it restart the UI? I don't know. That's more of, I don't know if Shin's here if he wants to speak on it, but that's probably something that is not, I don't know. I'll leave that for Shin to talk about, or maybe someone can put it in a GitHub suggestion. He can respond to it, but I know that's
So
definitely.
I'll respond to that real quick.
Yeah.
The reason UI breaks is because UI is bad. The UI was not coded properly. So once I go through and actually refix a lot of those things, there's no need for a UI reset if UI is made correctly. What happens is NUI messages get lost over time because people like to spam the button that opens and closes it. And so you'll have 3 of the same UIs actually open on your screen. You won't see it, but the computer says that there's 3 of them open and it can only close 1 at a time. So if it loses track of that, which it keeps doing, that's why you would need a UI command. There's no need for a UI command, and anybody that asks for another one, I'm just gonna start muting, because there's no need. That's bad practice, honestly. I get that people want to help and stuff like that, but if you're suggesting a bad practice tactic multiple times, I'm gonna have to kind of sit you down and talk to you about it, and let you know that, hey, I get that you want this fixed, but there's certain ways that we have to approach certain situations due to the way that 5M is. If I give you a UI reset for one thing, it will break a lot of other things down the line, and I don't think people get that. I'm
All right.
sorry. I'm also very sick and a little short right now, so I apologize if any of my answers come off as dickish.
No problem. So, going down some other points. Someone said, "Can we get clarification in terms for robbing a person?" I've heard mixed answers. Getting robbed 2 or 3 times a day while a truck route sucks because people are just waiting for a no truck stop to rob someone. Yeah, that's not allowed. Robbing people on truck routes just for the sake of robbing them, like that still breaks the main rule we have, which is you can't be robbing someone without a reason to rob them. And like just because someone's on a trucking route and you want to rob them because like you want to get some cash off them, like that's not a valid reason enough. You need to actually have a storyline behind it, have interaction. There has to be reason to be doing these things, and that's a main rule we always stress on the server. So when things like that do happen, we always recommend doing an in-game report, making a ticket, and our staff team is always ready and available to help out with it.
I just want to put in though, if it's someone that knows you and they know that you do trucking and stuff, someone who might, despise you or something in the city, then I think that's a different, a different thing. But if they're just robbing you just to rob you whilst you're trucking, just because you're an easy target, that's obviously not allowed. But if they have, if they know you aside from trucking and they plan on robbing you, and it happens during a shift, then that's a little bit different. But
Yeah, but from my understanding, there's definitely is an issue lately of there being just random robbings, and certain jobs have been targeted extra for it, and it's something we do want to put a stop to because it's just not one, it's just breaking one of our main rules, and two, it's just not an environment we want to kind of promote. So. So yeah, so in terms of using motorcycles and chases and NVL jumping ramp stuff, like that definitely should not be happening. If they are creative and use their motorcycles to get away in creative ways and like get into tight spaces, like that's fine, and we are aware that they are crazy fast, but they are also extremely dangerous and really easy to fall off of, so they do kind of have that to balance them out. But in terms of taking like NVL jumps and stuff like that, like that is a rule, like we it like if you want to take like a slight off thing jump to that drops down a little bit, that's completely fine, but you shouldn't be like doing the GTA stunt jumps that are in there, like that launch you up hundreds of feet in the air on a motorcycle and trying to land that and stuff, because obviously that falls under NVL. So
I like
in
to
that
speak to people of if it's one story, it's probably acceptable. If it's more than a story worth of height, then you're probably being unrealistic because your vehicle would break.
right. Someone said could be there more variation in routes on jobs. That is something we are looking at. We're looking at kind of in the future reworking all the local jobs to make them a little more interactive and exciting. So it's not just either the same routes or the same thing over and over. So that definitely is on our radar, and it is something we have talked about.
I'd like to just kind of clear this up during this meeting. This week / maybe next week's development schedule is strictly for voice boxes, inventory, and phones. I will not be working on anything else because they are very, very, very problematic right now and causing crashes. So those are the things that are of main focus, nothing else. If we do touch on anything else, they will be small projects within our own time while we're trying not to rip our hair out. Because they're just getting to a point where they're taking up so much time, they need to be fixed, and they need to be fixed as quick as possible. So I'd just like to put that out there before people start asking Taco too many development questions about this week. It's strictly voice box, inventory, stashes, and phone.
All right, there you go.
I would also like, this is something completely different, but something I've noticed a lot recently is a lot of people, when they're downed, they talk as if they have no injuries whatsoever. Um, I mean, you should either, one, stay completely quiet or roleplay your injuries. If you've been shot to the stomach or if you've been run over by a car, you should, find it very difficult to speak. You should not be there laughing, talking as if nothing happened. You need to roleplay your injuries because it's really, there's people that's been here for a long time that still doesn't understand um that your injuries should be role played, you know?
And I'm gonna also touch on that as well. Yes, there's obviously a um a mechanic of using your phone to do /911 or /911A, because when you actually do those commands, your phone does come out. Obviously, you might be able to use your phone while you're down or a radio. That all falls under the same thing she's talking about right now, where you, and like this person just said, stop tweeting in character that you're dead. Absolutely. All of that work says you're supposed to be RPing your injuries. You're not supposed to be in the middle of dying and on the radio telling your friend, hey bro, come pick me up. Or on Twitter, yo, I really need help right now. Um at the end of the day, we understand that EMS is a system to get you up, but it's not meant to just constantly die throughout the day and you're on your phone asking for help, because it's literally zero RP.
Just for an example, I was called the other day. I was all the way up in Pulido or somewhere, and somebody had called me and said that they fell off of the crane next to PDM and that they broke their legs, and they were talking completely normally.
Sounds
If you
legit.
fall off a crane, that crane
Mhm.
is probably 400 feet high. If you fall off that crane, you're not speaking. So, RP your injuries out, please.
And the other thing that, like, people have some creative ways of doing it too, where they don't want to tell you certain things. Like, this is a you factor, you know? This isn't a we are going to police what everyone is saying and what's happening when they're dead. No, like, this is, if you want to preserve your RP and you want to stay immersed and keep the others around you immersed, like, you have to do this on your own. Like, everyone has to be better at it. That's the people that are breaking the rules know what they do when they do it, you know? So just try to work at it and get better.
Alright, so Mac, I've seen you post the same question 3-4 times. I don't think we're going to be bringing that up during this meeting. Just letting you know.
We're not going to be addressing the second point, Mac.
All right. We're aware of the vehicles coming out broken. We're 100% aware of the vehicle issues in terms of the parts degrading, in terms of pulling them out of the garage, and that we're working on that already. We have started. Yeah. So also someone else said if you do 911 anonymous, which is what you have to do when you're down, don't just put help. You have to try to say where you are. When you do /911A or /911 anonymous, which is what the A is, it does not ping your location. You have to explain where you are. It's as if a local found you and is calling in like, hey, found some guy at next to the bank on this street, he's dead. Like, please send someone over. So you have to be very, very descriptive of your location, and everything like that, or else they really have no way of finding you. What do we do if we get randomly robbed? I already said that earlier. You can do an in-game report with /report, or you can open a ticket. If you, get the person's ID, or even if you don't, we have logs that we're able to check, and we can take care of the situation from there.
But if you could record, that would be, 100% better for us as well.
The performance on motorcycles disappearing and needing another person to sit on them has been addressed a few times before. That has to be discussed on the mechanic level with mechanic boss, and at that point, everyone on our side of it is aware that it has been something in the past, and there are a couple factors that we've looked into about before. So that being said, yeah, that we're aware of that. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just and I guess the whole main point people are bringing up about the bikes is like it's the same point we have to constantly be bringing up about bank heists and bank jobs and police chases, is we want to promote just better RP from everyone, and like a fun, and like I said earlier, we want to make it fun for everyone. And taking a bike that goes way too fast, or taking a Camacho off road and just getting away in 2 minutes, I get that. It's nice to win every once in a while, but I feel like if you're doing that every single time, like it's just shitty RP, if we're being honest, and it's not a very fun thing for both parties. And we don't want to have to make it a rule where it's like, don't do this escape this many times, or we don't have to we don't want to have to make every single little thing a rule. We just want to kind of promote more creativity, and like I said, more fun for everybody.
Tilsh, you asked if we're planning to make in more slots for the server. It was recently increased, actually. We went from 100 to 120, and increasing the slots is not as easy as it may sound. We will gradually get there, but just, bear with us.
Someone saying something about having an ability for people to rob people to make a quick buck, like people do in real life. Honestly, I think there's plenty of other ways for people to make money, make a quick buck in the city, that doesn't involve just randomly robbing people and bothering people. I get that in real life a criminal can go around robbing people, but it's the same. Like in real life I could just go up and kill someone as well, but we still have these rules in the server for a reason, because there's just no fun and no RP and just randomly robbing people. So I think if someone wants to make a quick buck and be a low level criminal, there's plenty of other ways for them to do that. So.
I also want to address the fact that people keep asking me how to make money. The whole point of an RP server is for you to create your own avenue and make money through that avenue. It doesn't have to strictly tie to bank jobs, to robbing people, to the courthouse jobs. You can create your own avenue within RP and make money in that way.
Can there be an option to do community service instead of jail time, reduce jail time? Yes, we are. The new penal code that we're looking into has certain charges that are listed as community service as an option. It's just a matter of us adding that to the actual city, which, as Shin said earlier, it's not going to be something that's going to be worked on this week because we have these huge things that need to get done. But it is, we do have plans to hopefully have that not too far from now.
Stealing police vehicles outside of the green zones. At this time, we have zero intention to make it or to take away the rule that you will be able to steal police cars and EMS vehicles or whatever, unless you have a valid RP reason.
If the
Right.
cops spike to your tires, if the police spike to your tires, you get into a gunfight with the police and you need to leave after the fact, you can take their police car. If their police car is sitting out front of MRPD, you cannot take their police car. It's really easy, guys.
Very easy. Taking the biggest issue we have right now is the random occurrences where people see a local police car and the first thing they do when they see it is snatch the local car and they're driving around impersonating cops. Because this is a public server at this point, that would be very unfun for the people that do want to actually, stay immersed as much as possible. So this blanket rule is to prevent all of these other occurrences from happening because it wouldn't there's no way to control everyone if everyone decided to steal police cars all day every day. So at this point there won't be any taking that rule out to kind of keep that under wraps.
So like I said, like Shannon touched on earlier, this community meeting really isn't about pitching content ideas like implementing test drive at PDM and little things like that. Like that's all stuff that if you have a suggestion, throw it in the GitHub suggestions. And when developers have time to get to these things, they will get to them. It's just there's big things that like Shin said we're working on. Voice boxes, inventory, phone, the things that are like kind of preventing people from RPing to the full extent they can. Obviously little things like test drive at PDM would be, sure, that'd be fun and great, but it's definitely not on the top of our priority list right now.
I mean, yeah, Jamie, the idea of them having the reason like to actually steal the car. Perfect example for stealing a cop car. The cop is having a struggle with the criminal on the side of the road for like they're trying to detain the individual. The individual gets the best of the cop, so they use the cop car to get away. Perfect example. You're in an RP situation with the cop. You ended up winning, obviously. You use the cop car to get away. But at that point, you would do what any other criminal would do. You'd probably ditch the cop car and go your separate way. We're trying to prevent people from impersonating cops and abusing that RP.
Yeah, I think just to like this will probably be, I don't want this to keep being brought up, the rewards from banks. It is something we're monitoring, and we will make, like, if changes need to be made, we will make them. It's rewards for any sort of criminal activity is such a tough thing to keep balanced, and we just need to be extremely careful that we don't increase it and make it that it's way too profitable and way too easy, and like it's always something that we're monitoring and have to be careful of because it's such a big factor in terms of the city's economy. So the rewards from banks and other criminal activities, it is something we are thinking of. We just, like I said, it is difficult, but we have heard that a lot, and it is something that I'll look into more to make sure that the reward does kind of make sense in terms of what you're putting into it and what you're risking and everything like that.
The issue with bikes and fuel is being addressed. So
I think that can be said. The issue with fuel as a whole, we're aware of it, and we are. It is on a magnifying glass, I guess you could say.
along with tires popping when you take them out of the garage.
We've also talked about in talks of the gas. We've also talked about gas canteens in the future as well. Yes, to answer that question.
It's possible police can get motorcycles to counter criminals having them. Even if the police did get motorcycles, it would like for them to be the same speed that some of these other motorcycles are. It's kind of like it's a tricky system. I know they do have like, I think we do have a police motorcycle. I don't think it's used yet, and but I'm not sure what the exact speed of it is. But we are looking into it. The main issue is like, I don't know. It's a bigger issue than just allowing criminals to use motorcycles to escape from a bank job, because in reality, if there's 4 motorcycles outside of a bank and the 4 criminals get on them and all go their separate ways, it's like that means you need to have 4 different police units chasing 4 different criminals individually. And it's like I don't know. It's a lot more than just, oh, like why can't they just use motorcycles if police have motorcycles? It's a bigger thing that needs to be addressed, and it's a much bigger conversation than just giving the police access to motorcycles. Plans for a towing service, yes. Like I said, this still isn't like this. Like I said, this, next week or two, until possibly the next community meeting. Like I'm hoping the next community meeting we can be in a position to take a lot of these, big suggestions and really like make big promises. But for now, like the next week or two is really just going to be about these big issues. But towing service, we have talked about that in the past for sure. What about bandages? I'm not even gonna respond to that. You could listen to the last community meeting. That was talked about a lot. High speed
Speaking
unit
of
for
that,
police. That's already. Yep, we've already been looking into that, and I definitely would take a look around the city a little more.
also, if you guys are interested, there's recordings of our previous meetings in the channel directly above this one. So if we didn't address your issue, and maybe it was addressed in the past community meeting, I highly suggest listening to those when you get the chance.
Once again, the gas running out of vehicles, it's not just about those specific cars. It's a big issue that we already know about, and we're trying to push a quick fix for it. It's I know people are having issues with their gas running out, just randomly for their own personal vehicles as well. So. Offer more permission over serious players to DV abandoned damaged vehicles. Definitely not going to happen. We can look at possibly having staff do it, but I think it's much better to have it be an RP thing with like a solution like a towing system, which we're already planning to implement in the future. Future player jobs, we're always looking into more more jobs. Like I said, we're in terms of local jobs, we're already going to be looking in the future of reworking them. But player run businesses are always things that are being added. There's no guarantees of timelines of anything like that. It's kind of just when we can push them out, we'll push them out and add new businesses. And because we want it to be, we want to focus more on player run jobs than local jobs. That's something that it was always being brought up. It's always being worked on. So.
And on that note, if you do have an idea for a player-owned business, or you want to buy a business, or you have, something that you're interested in, there is a GitHub. You can make a feature request with your business that you're interested in, and we will take a look at it. This probably isn't the best place to be talking about that kind of stuff right now, though.
Yeah, new business proposals, things like that. All that stuff is just, put it on the GitHub, and like it's not something that we can give you a timeline for or any sort of guarantee. It's like I said, it's anything on there. It's when we could make the time to add it into the city. Also, there isn't a guarantee that a business that gets proposed will be added to the city, or that it'll be, we've stressed this a lot, that if you propose a business, it doesn't mean that your character is going to be given that business. It means that, if we do end up adding it to the city, it'll be, auctioned off, and you're more than welcome to try to be the one that owns it. But we're more just looking for business ideas that can be added to the city, to give RP opportunities to everybody. And it's always something that we're working on. Add more hospitals, police stations. Currently, we don't have a plan for that, but maybe in the future.
I feel like every community meeting, someone brings up casinos. It's discussed in a lot of other meetings that you could see the recordings on, but to just touch base on it right now to kind of prevent any other conversation and confusion in the rest of this meeting is it's not something that we are willing to do at this time, due to, obviously security and infrastructure things, where the toss up is you can have a casino and we can have a lot of wizards and hackers, or we can have no casino, no wizards and hackers until there is a safe way to do it. So at this time, casino is not something we're looking to do. We do have an ideas of future gambling ideas. At this time, obviously, content is not something we're going to discuss.
I'm not even sure what WL is.
Whitelist.
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 Yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
Let's just not get into that topic right now.
Wait,
No.
Yeah.
we're already
Yeah,
looking
it's
into doing that in the future. So
We are, but
Yeah.
that's whitelist doesn't fix a lot of those issues. That just means that it slows down. If somebody has ill intentions, they're going to do it regardless.
yeah.
Is a new parking system possible? I'm not sure that's something that really is needed right now, to be honest. It's one of those things, like our current parking system. I mean, I guess it could be improved in a few ways, but we have a working system, and it doesn't really have any extreme issues. So I think, in terms of, like I said, priority, that's really what we're trying to focus on. Is the kind of bigger things that need to be done first, and things like that can always be looked at in the future.
A lot of the things that you guys are bringing up in the community meeting chat right now are already made on GitHub. So if you guys go look at the GitHub, if we already have them sitting there, they're going to be addressed either on GitHub, or, we're just going to address them ourselves and take away the suggestion. The whole thing is, we have a lot of people in this server and a lot of suggestions, so we have a GitHub that so people can actually make their suggestions there, and we as a staff team can look over them and see what gets done.
Seating people who are downed in a 2-seater is very it's something that we are aware of, and it's something that has been looked into previously. Right now, we encourage, on that topic, that it's obviously a 4-door vehicle where the person is actually seated in the vehicle. There are some times where, if you RP it properly, and you do put someone in a 2-seater or in the trunk or something, it's you have to RP it. You can't take advantage of it and just hop in and start driving around. I'll leave that thought to be, whatever creative thing you come up with to actually RP the situation so other people around you can see what you're doing, because it's just not realistic to you're escorting a dead body and you just hop in the driver's seat and drive off. Like there's no RP there. So on that topic, it is something we've been discussing about 2-seater escorting, seating.
It would make
Something in the
no
future.
yeah, it would make no sense on a bike whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know.
If you slash like I guess Prisma, you're talking about the 2-seater vehicle. Yes, and in the event that there is absolutely no way for you to find a 4-door vehicle, if you were to slash me it and puts body in trunk or puts body in passenger seat and actually role play it, and when you get to the hospital you follow up with that small bit of role play, then that is the time that we actually do accept it. But that's like the last resort. The first resort is seat them in a 4-door. Obviously try to call EMS and police as much as possible prior to.
Um,
Yeah, how has your day been, Taco?
Touch up on something really quick. It was asked, what do staff feel is priority for the server right now? It's what developer feels is priority for the server, and I'm telling you right now, we cannot move forward with anything until voice box, inventory, and phone are completed. Because every single day we get 30 tickets about somebody's stash item disappearing. We get 30 different tickets about somebody's voice box breaking, or we get 30 different tickets about somebody's phone not loading. Okay, we understand. And these are the big issues right now. These are what we feel is priority and what will stay priority until they're fixed. Voice boxes were slightly fixed a while ago. I get that. It seemed fine. Yes, it did. We were running an external server to pass all of our network traffic away from the same server that we use for the 5M server. We ended up taking that away, and now we bought another one. We're gonna try to re-implement it and see if it fixes our issues. If it fixes our issues, you guys won't have to toggle again. Voice boxes will sound great and we'll be fine. It's a process that we had to figure out over time because none of the code, all the code says that everything should be working fine. We're finding errors that have nothing to relate to our code, but more to deal with the TCP and UDP traffic being managed miscorrectly due to our ports being closed so that people can't do things. So when they're fixed, we will move on to other things. Until then, I'm not saying anything. I'm not giving a promise on any new content. Voice boxes, inventory, phones. When they're fixed, we'll talk about other things.
By the way, are we bringing any people up to speak this meeting?
Eventually.
for now, we're just still going through. There's a lot of points being brought up in the chat, and
Someone did, I think, earlier in the way up there earlier in the meeting, somebody brought up the idea of a used car lot. It's 100% something that's already been discussed amongst staff, and
yep.
yeah, a great idea. Selling cars amongst players, all of that, it's great ideas. It just has to be done in a way to prevent both sides from being cheated and or to keep the RP as genuine throughout it. So
Finance options for buying cars. I'm gonna be completely honest. I walk down the street now and I see pretty much 80% of the city driving super nice cars. I don't think it's needed, to be honest. People are buying really expensive cars every single day and have the money for them, I don't think financing options is needed. It's you know, to get a normal car for someone, it's really easy to get enough money for that in a day. But to get a really nice car like that, even that shouldn't even be something that is something you get right away. It should be something you have to work towards, and financing kind of just takes the whole idea out of I mean, it kind of just takes the time and effort out of getting something like that, which we're trying to avoid. Kind of everybody speed running everything. So
Jack is saying this community sounds great. Is there any? Do we need help of some sort? As a community, I mean, if you guys are RPing and you see things happening within the city, and it's something simple that can, you know, be handled within RP. You know, if you're talking with people and they're constantly going out of character, or you see somebody escorting someone, jumping fences and doing weird stuff like that, it is you know, within RP you could suggest things in certain ways to try to preserve the immersion. If it doesn't and you see things happening, always feel free to do slash report or make a ticket. And I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions and confusion about making a ticket with or without clips. Um, it's so much easier if we have a video to be able to handle some of these things. So if you guys are seeing stuff going on in the city, um, you don't just have to turn your shoulder and go the other way because it doesn't involve you. Obviously, you don't want to interrupt someone else's RP, but if you feel like it's something you can um, try to monitor and just try to help out, maybe the people just need help. You know, try to help each other, not so much rob everyone you see, but help other people. You know.
in terms of cops getting paid more, it's already something that we have addressed. If it's something I need to revisit, I can. We are trying new solutions to help with that, but it is something that we're monitoring. Oh my god.
So that is not what the community meeting chat is for. Please open a ticket.
It's a
We're not gonna.
gotcha.
It's it's a gotcha.
It's yeah. Um.
Uh,
Jesus Lord.
Anyways, if if anyone wants to speak, this will probably be the time. It seems like we've kind of covered a lot of the text stuff. So
One thing I don't think we've touched on, which have been discussed a bunch of times. I know everyone loves their garbage routes. We want to try to keep everything as fun as possible. If you're doing garbage routes and you're trying to, there's a specific spot on the garbage route where you are jumping a fence and throwing the garbage bags through the fence into the back of the truck. It's unrealistic. It's fail RP. It's exploiting the fact that you can access the menu or the E muscle through the fence to do that. Please don't. We've warned some people. Some people who didn't listen to warns did get banned for it because, in a sense, while it is there, it doesn't mean that you should use it. It kind of breaks the idea of actually RPing all the time. So on that note, if you are running the garbage route and you see somebody doing it, just try to help them out. Let them know it's not all right. What happened to the copper and steel stuff? That's a find out in character thing.
All right, let's bring somebody up to speak.
No, the EMS gentleman has been
Yeah, I just invited him to speak.
uh,
Oh, hello.
Hey, buddy.
hello.
Right, right. So I have seen quite a lot of people have the issue of a lot of like the fact that there's not that many EMS working, or like especially in like EU times. I do understand that that is quite more of an RP kind of issue, but one thing I was kind of also suggesting was what you could do is like so see how there's a new fine kind of thing now, where that every time like you revive someone or you heal someone, there's like you pay like 150, 250, 300 and so on and so on. I feel like because there's not that many staff members working in EMS, what they could maybe introduce is like a commission based kind of incentive for EMS, which would kind of tackle a few things like the pay, plus it would kind of get people to actually work more in EMS. I don't know if that's something that has been addressed or is in discussion, but
Okay, so you're basically asking for EMS to get paid more based on commission, is what I'm hearing?
um, it's not well. It can be a discussion, yeah, but like, it's more so to get people in EMS working more. Plus, like, I mean, it's kind of like two birds, one stone, in my opinion. On
Right.
like getting more people to work slash addressing
So
like the whole pay system.
if you want to come up with a system that you think would work and make a GitHub suggestion, we can definitely look over it and have a conversation about it and see what we can do.
All right.
As of right now, I can't really speak on anything like that, in regards to like the pay and all that. But obviously, if I don't know how staffed you guys are specifically, um, but applications are going to be open, and we can definitely use a lot more people in the EMS team and the LSPD. So apply, please.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's not that many people actually employed, but yeah, I'm pretty sure people can handle that. But yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no worries. Could you just move back to the audience? Actually, I got you. Okay. Um, is there anybody else who requested to speak? Santa. Okay. Santa, if you're still here, I invited you to speak.
Yep, perfect. Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
I know we already addressed a bunch. I was just hoping to kind of get a concrete answer on if there's anything that's going to be done with gold bars, and I was hoping we could just talk about some suggestions or um what we can do to make it fair for cops to, because I agree, like the chases right now are like Camachos and bikes, and I think the reason for that is the incentive on gold bars.
Okay, so you're talking about the prices of gold bars and the incentive on risk
Yeah.
versus reward.
It's not even just the value of gold bars. What I was more of thinking is weight of gold bars. I think if we reduce the weight of gold bars, we can have less people in heists and more people can get away, and it'll allow for more intricate chases because every heist is going to be more thought out if you're getting away with more.
Right, but in my opinion, I
Yeah.
feel like the heists should be, more intricate and more creative in general, just because, the more creative you are, I feel like the less you would be caught by cops. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's the thing: you want to like there are guaranteed outs. If you use a Camacha, you're more likely to get out than in any other way. And because the reward is so little, you have to hit multiple banks a day to even profit. Like the first bank, you break even on getting the materials. If you get caught, you're down negative 20,
Right.
you know? And
So my whole
you
thing.
yeah, I just
All
don't want
right.
it to be something that you have to train to profit because that's
All right.
literally
So,
what it is now.
can I touch on this real quick? Because
Yeah.
Grandpa brought
Mhm.
up a pretty good thing.
Mhm.
In the future, I would like to take your inventory weight and combine
Yeah.
them into the car's mass somehow.
Mhm.
So your car will go a lot slower if you're carrying a shit ton of gold bars. So get fucked, dudes with Camachos. I'm sorry, you're
Jesus.
not gonna be able to go up hills with a shit ton of gold bars. But balancing out vehicles specifically is going to be something that takes a very long time.
We're
Hi, Doc.
definitely looking into getting most of the vehicles fixed, but regarding your question about
Mhm.
the incentive, in my personal opinion, and I'm sure some people on the staff team share this opinion, the point of an RP server isn't just, get as much money as quick as
Yeah.
possible and get rich, It's all about the RP and having a fun experience with what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So you basically you're telling me that you want to have more of an incentive to hit banks because you want to, do them more and you think that it would provide more creativity. But
Uh,
what I'm saying is that the creativity should already be there. We shouldn't have this mindset of everything's just a money grind.
Yeah, I agree with you because it is. I am having a money grind mentality, and my solution, instead of coming to you guys asking you for more money, is I'm figuring out ways to chain banks to make as much money as I can, and I just don't want to take away, um, like fun from the RP or the chase. But and I try to do more creative stuff, and I know a lot of the LSPD will agree. But at the end of the day, my last resort, if I need to get money, I have my guaranteed ways of getting out, which is the Camacho or a bike. And I hate doing that. It feels cheap.
Well, it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. And I try to limit it to once a day, but um, it's just sometimes you need to get out because you're down because you got caught. So now you're down -20. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna I'm gonna
I don't
address the
know.
elephant. There's an elephant in the room when it comes to the bank chases, and
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be the one to address it. And this it I understand that in you and your chases, it might be an idea of trying to be creative and yes, the risk and reward, blah blah blah. I
Mhm.
understand all of that. Um, as a whole, for everyone listening, there is a huge win mentality that takes place on either side. I'm not going to point fingers to anyone,
Mhm.
but the idea behind I lost is so scary that it's anyone will do anything to get away or anyone will do anything to catch the criminal. And that's not the point of it. It's not the point of it isn't what's the easiest way to get away, the fastest way. I can rob 9 banks in 10 days and make a million, yet and whatever. It's the idea is to preserve the RP as much as possible and keep it fair on both sides. So if you find yourself in the middle of planning your banks based on how fast you can get the money and get away, I think you're kind of robbing
Missing the
yourself
point.
from the start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not even grasping what you guys are saying. Are you looking into reworking the gold system, or do you think it's absolutely fair now?
We'll look into reworking it, but I
Yeah.
feel that the money incentive shouldn't be the only reason that you guys are robbing banks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes back to my point. I would love to do a crazy, intricate plan to get away, but then I'm only gonna get away with 15, and I need to hit another one soon. It's like
You don't
what?
have to.
I mean, I don't know. What you're saying is 15 should be enough, but it's not with like the economy. It's not with 15 is what I use to buy the materials to hit the bank. So I just hit a bank to do nothing to get away with like net zero. You know what I mean?
Those cops that are chasing you during those chases that you guys are running at mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you made it away with 15? There's cops out there that don't even make 15 in a day, in 2 days, in 3 days. You got to think about that. You just said the economy. There's cops out there that don't make 15K in 3 days.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys, but I'm just saying if you hit one bank a day, you get out with net zero.
I'm gonna touch on
Yeah.
it just because you're disagreeing. It's doing your job and having a win mentality is two separate things. Robbing a bank and getting away and having a win mentality is two separate things. Preserving the RP means that you're understanding that you might have messed up and somebody you might get caught, and understanding that you lost. As a cop, if you lose, you lose literally nothing. You go back to the PD, you get your loadout from Armory or wherever, and then you're back out doing your thing. the criminals, they get caught, they lose everything, and it's that everyone has to understand that there's a risk for reward, and there's also understanding that you're going to lose sometimes. When I talk about win mentality, it's the people that are sweating bank robberies, the people that are sweating the chases, and when they do lose, it's an issue with why they lost. When just understand that people are going to lose in every situation. It's just how it works. And I'm not saying you're wrong for wanting to do your job, or you're wrong for wanting to RP a chase. I'm saying there's a line that gets crossed sometimes, and it doesn't need to be crossed in every situation. That's when I discuss win mentality, that's what I'm discussing.
So in the end of this conversation, basically, Taco already said that he's going to be looking into the net profit from the banks in the end. But what we're trying to get past is we want to see more creativity in general from bank heists and all of this stuff. Because,
Yeah.
the majority of the community does have that win mentality. And we want to see more people just looking for an RP experience rather than a win mentality,
Yeah. I share like both sides because I do weird stuff like golf carts and provide the LSPD with golf carts, and we only use golf carts to get away. And I do the same with ATVs, but then I also use a bike and a Camacha just because I need to at the end of the day I need to go home with more money than I used to
with a
get in.
profit.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. I keep going back to the win mentality, but I'm not risking 105 minutes of my life and 20K fine to get out with nothing, or to get out with net zero. I'm not risking that much just to get
Yeah,
out with
no,
nothing, and I hope you guys
understand
understand that.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
do understand that, but you also have to take into the consideration. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't think anybody was really explaining it the
Yeah.
well. If you are a criminal and
Mhm.
you make the most amount of money just by
Mhm.
hitting banks, what drives everybody else in the community to try to RP different situations? Nothing. Because the easiest way and the way that you're going to make the most money is by being a criminal. So if you have to take that into consideration with every single job that's out there, as well as the fact that criminals have a lot of RP in general, they have a lot of tools for RP.
Mhm.
If you make the most money, what's stopping me as a new player from just coming in to be the low level criminal because I know it's going to make me a bunch of money? What's not stopping me from going and trying to be the head of the hospital, because the head of the hospital in real life would be making millions of dollars, but yet realistically, a actual criminal would never make more money than a well-established business owner. Never.
Yeah. I mean, if a criminal robs 8 banks in a month, they should have more money than the head of the hospital.
Criminals do not
Yeah.
make
No.
the most money in real life. Somebody said this in a
Yeah.
community meeting. Criminals do not make the most money in real life.
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar is a very, very big exception. MS-13, a massive gang, is a very, very big exception. Take your local drug dealer. I bet you he does not have nowhere close to the amount of money that somebody like Walmart has. So you can't sit here and say that criminals do make the most money in real life when all you're thinking about is terms of the showcased movie star drug dealer. If you get what I'm saying. I don't mean to put you down, Santa. I understand you
No.
are
No.
a
I'm
good
okay.
criminal. We don't have a lot of complaints about you. You do good crimes.
Yeah.
And I do
Uh,
feel, we can buff we can buff the situation quite a bit, but when it does come down to the cold hard facts, you know, the in real life, an actual bank robber gets away not very often, not very often at all. Um, where a drug dealer would probably make more money than a bank robber on occasion. To be honest.
I
Yeah.
also there's also one more point I want to make, which is
Mhm.
the whole point about it takes X amount of money to rob a bank and you're only getting X in return. The only reason it takes 15 or 20K whatever to rob a bank is because you're going and buying those things from people.
No, I'm not
Um,
even saying that for myself. I'm saying that I'm advocating for others. I
no, no,
know
no, I know,
I
but
don't spend that much.
like anybody
Yeah.
can technically make all the stuff they need to rob a bank, and it costs $0. So
Mhm.
they just have to go through the. It takes a little bit of time, so it's really time versus money. which so it would just make their net profits even more. But people like to do it a little too quick, so they just would rather go buy the needed items, which I'm not going to like necessarily say what those items are here, but people like to just go buy them from people who already did put the time into getting them. But if somebody wanted to, they could get everything they need to rob a bank for $0 if they just did it themselves, right?
Yeah, that really goes back to like the cost of materials, which is like another whole topic that I'm not even the right person to talk about because yeah. But that goes into a whole new issue. You know what I mean?
I know. And that's like, I mean, that issue itself is something that is already going to be looked at. But I'm just saying that like, I do notice a lot of people just like to buy the necessary things instead of trying to go through the process of getting them themselves, which does obviously reduce their profits. I will look at, like I already said earlier, I will look at the returns from bank jobs and see if they need to be adjusted. I'm not going to say any specifics, but there is an idea that I did already have for banks that I might look more into as well. But yeah, I will look into it and stuff. But I think that if people want to make more of a profit, there is kind of already little things they can be doing, but it is still something that I already wrote it down now, and I'll make time to look at it.
Hey, look at the weight too, because I love doing less people. I hate going in with 4. But yeah, that's just a personal thing for me. And can I please just get an official confirmation on marked bills, and then I'll stop taking up your time? Are they in the city or are they not in the city? Like, can you sell them or no? Can you clean them or no?
Can't answer that here. Sorry.
It's not really a thing we can answer right here.
All right, cool. All right, whatever. Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Later.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the next person. Let's go with the officer that's requesting to speak.
Got a little best of both worlds here.
Yep. If they decide to join. Okay.
The next person for now.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, guys?
Hey.
I'm very good. Thanks for asking, man. Basically, it's just I was in kitchen, so I'm not too sure if there was already someone asking this one about the microphone, all the voice box. Voice box has been kind of scuffed lately. I'm not too sure what's going on. I just want to know if there's like plans to just fix this up with the radio.
We're working
Radio
on
kind of scuffed.
fixing
It's
it all up.
fucking a mess.
Yeah, we are. We are definitely. That's our pretty much our number one priority for this week. So
Yeah, because it's very hard. Even just working at VU or stuff like that. Like we're trying to whisper, but people telling like you're not whispering when you're whispering. And it's.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the new update, man. For this, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of our main priorities, boss.
Cool, man. All right, appreciate it, man. And that's pretty much it, man. There's nothing else, man. So thanks again, guys, for all the awesome update, man. Wish you the best, man. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring up Toxic. See what he has to say.
What's up,
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I just got a quick question, man. So when you're in the city, obviously you don't want to break character. You're in a cop chase, and I know after 3 years of experience, you can tell when you accidentally pit somebody. Like you didn't have authorization, you didn't mean to do it. You can see it in your eyes that the car is 5 feet in front of you and just takes a random skid path, and you could tell that you hit the car. Right now, you as a criminal don't want to break character and be like, "Hey, man, that was scuffed as fuck. Can I fix my car? We could continue." I would love to see the cops actually take the initiative and say, "Hey, man, that was fucked in our eyes. We're gonna let you fix your car. We're gonna continue the chase," or something along that. Because it goes back to what you guys just said. When you're a cop, you go back to the armory and you grab your shit for free, right? When you're on the criminal side, they take you into jail. They don't know what you have on you until they search you. You might have a shit ton of shit on you. You know what I mean? So you could take a really big L that day, and you just bite your tongue on it because you don't want to get in trouble breaking character, or get kicked from the server for being a dickhead. But at the same time, it's very demoralizing to the criminal side because there's situations that do happen like that, and I've yet to actually see a police officer physically take the initiative to be like, "Hey, man, that was fucked up. My bad. Let's rerun it," or something along those lines. Or hey, I'm going to confiscate the illegal items, send you on your way, or something along those lines where you're not completely screwing the person, but you're at least showing that step forward, like, hey, it was a screwed up situation. Let's do like half and half. We'll take the items, but let you go. You don't have to do the jail or something along those lines. You know what I mean?
I mean, so if so from my perspective, if I'm in the city, and if there's a chase and desync happens, both parties agree that a desync happened, and say they slammed into your car and it damaged your car to the point where the chase isn't like, you're not, one, it's the car's not functional, or two, it's just not, like, it just ruined the chase. If both parties like are on the same page with that, and it's a really simple thing. Like, if you were to put in a report, or like a prayer, as they call it, to the angels, or like the admins, we could come kind of fix the situation in terms of repairing a car and allow you guys to continue the chase if that's the case. And that's my advice for, like, if as a cop, if you desync and slam into a car and you realize that it kind of ruined it, if you put in that slash report, and like it as much as it'll kind of pause the RP, if the RP's already kind of got messed up from desync, like, we can fix that at an admin level and come and repair a vehicle if need be, so that is an option as well.
I'd like to just see cops back off at least a block and wait, allow people to repair, and then continue the chase. What does it hurt you? What does it hurt you? They're still in your sights. You're able to manage them. What does it hurt you if they're just sitting there repairing their car?
Yeah, and the thing is, though, and the point about cop cars getting damaged, like, I mean, it's the same argument to be made. Like, we can have both cars be repaired, but I will say that it's a well-known fact in the city that cop cars are a lot stronger than like a regular vehicle. So most of the time, when an accidental ram that does happen, it puts the criminal's vehicle in a really damaged state, and normally the cop vehicles are fine. But in a situation where both vehicles did get extremely damaged, like, it can be something that can be fixed, and then the RP can't continue. And that's a thing in any situation. If somebody's head pops in the middle of RP, and they come back in, you should be able to resume the RP that you were doing. And anything like that, and if it involves admins helping out, or if it's just something that you're able to figure out on your own, like, we're all for it. But we always have admins in the city available, so if there's a situation like that, if an accidental ram happens, a desync happens, I suggest pausing the chase, putting in a quick report to get an admin down there. They can repair the vehicles, and then you guys can continue the chase, maybe put a little distance to simulate how it was, and then start it up again. So
100%. I appreciate you guys' time, and just want to say that wasn't a shot at any officers. I think most of the cops in the city do a great job with giving people the time to actually enjoy themselves. So that wasn't like a shot at the cops. I just know of a couple situations where the desync did kind of ruin the RP. So I just want to touch on that and see if there's a way to do it. And I do like the idea. I just personally would never think to slash report or assist or call admin based on. I've never wanted to be that guy that wastes your guys' time. You know what I mean?
don't look at it as wasting time. It's we want to do everything we can in our power to assist with good RP in the city, and if that means teleporting over, repairing a vehicle, and allowing you guys to continue, then we're more than happy to. It's not at all wasting our time or anything like that. We promise. So
By no means. Taco personally will go out of his way to continue a situation. I won't name specifics, but he will go completely out of his way to make sure that the RP happens, and it's a great process. Also, I would just like to point out, Toxic, if you ever come up, or for anybody, if you come up here to speak, please don't feel like you're about to be marginalized or you need to apologize for the things that you say. We are all here. We are all adults. We all respect you for speaking yourself. I mean, it needs to be addressed. There's no hate here. It just needs to be addressed.
100%. And I appreciate you guys. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. Speaking of easy, I'm gonna bring up easy.
Fair.
So, yo, what's good, guys? How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, buddy?
So yeah, I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but is there any way that you guys could like up the server like count so that I can actually get?
Lord have mercy.
I took that one upon myself.
Yep. All right. Let's bring in Concept. See what he has to say. Concept, are you ready?
Or Officer Valeri, either one.
He just DM'd me saying, I don't think we know how to join.
Oh, there we go. Hello?
Okay, he got it. What's up, buddy?
Can y'all? Oh, there we go. Now it's
Yep,
working.
there you
Yeah,
go.
we go.
So yeah, how y'all doing? I just want to bring up something. The Celex, new criminals. A lot of the times, all they have to do is rob stores and things like that. I see a bunch of watches, cell phones, stuff like that for house robberies. I know, for the most part, I'm not going to say how things are done, but house robberies take a minute to learn unless you know somebody or talk to somebody on how to do it. But for the most part, Celex is pretty simple, and anybody knows that how to do the other robberies, so to speak. Like I said, I'm trying to not say too much, but with cash rolls and cash stacks, it almost seems like every time a new criminal tries to, or like a basic level criminal tries to pull out their phone and try to sell some cash rolls, somebody else has already beaten them to it, and so they're just sitting on like thousands of cash rolls and in lockup or in their pockets, and then they just never get a chance to sell them or something like that. So I was just wondering if there's a way that we can maybe increase the numbers of things that are being exchanged or sold through Celex, or maybe increase the amount of times we see cash rolls or cash stacks sold. That's all.
Yeah. So in terms of not metagaming, I will say that we have already done something to the city to help with that. But I can't say specifically what it is without metagaming. But so that's there is something that kind of helps with that right now. But if it's something that we can also look at as well in terms of the frequency of how much things pop up on Celex. If those items are a lot more in the hands of criminals and stuff, maybe we'll increase it. So I can take a look at that though.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for all y'all do. That's all I wanted to talk about.
No worries, thank you.
We invited Concept up to speak, but I don't know if he's joining or not. So if there's anybody else and thinks that they have something to say, then please come up here. Also, please don't, say anything
Hello?
weird. Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, fellas. I didn't understand how to get up there, but I saw the accept button at the top. Hey, how you guys doing, man? I appreciate everything you guys are doing on the server. It's actually a really awesome server, and
Thank you.
I definitely appreciate everything you guys are doing because it's making an enjoyable experience, But the only thing, man, is that I have an issue with just a few things, and it's nothing major at all, at all. It's just kind of the cop metagame situation that it does occur, and I understand that it will occur and it's okay, but it's just been a little bit too frequent to me. Um, does that make sense to you guys?
What specifically do you
You're
mean?
gonna, yeah, you're gonna have to be
Formatting?
more specific.
All right. So I get in a situation where cops are um pretty much they have somebody that they know that have done something, but they get a lesser sentence. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here, a kind of a newer player into the server, and end up getting a ton more months than anybody else will get because I just don't want to play less. Does that make sense? Like I'm trying to role play as like a person that is actually, I'm a criminal, in the server, but I'm trying to be nice to people at the same time.
Right. I mean, that's definitely something we're not okay with. Um, people getting different treatment in terms of, fines and prison sentences and things like that. Um, I mean, if something like that blatantly does happen, I recommend kind of that's more of like an opening a ticket issue and letting us investigate into it. Because it's definitely not like people should be getting like if two people did the exact same crime, regardless of if they know the officer or if it's they're friends with them out of the city, like everybody should be getting the same punishment. So if regardless of like how you're RPing it, so yeah, like if it is something that is happening, then it's more like I'd recommend like opening a ticket, bringing that more in detail to our attention so we can look into it.
Okay, so that's a situation, whenever you understand that like I got jailed for like 40 months for stealing a car when somebody got let off for stealing a car. Like it was just kind of like the cops are kind of bored situation, but the cops just knew that other person. It's just I don't know. I'm not saying it's with every cop, but it's just
Right. And that's what I'm
I
saying though, is like in that situation where that happens, the best thing to do is to, reach out to us about like the specific incident and we can look into it. But in terms of like discussing that here, it's probably not the best place for it.
right, no, like, and that's I'm completely okay with that. And then the other thing was actually touched on by the previous person was I can't sell anything that I have, man. Like the Celex is just kind of a little weak right now. Is my thought process on Celex, but that maybe needs to be addressed by like the police force. I don't know. I maybe there just needs to be more police force, honestly.
I mean, that's always something we're monitoring in the city, trying to make sure that our numbers are good, especially at certain hours and things like that. So yeah, we're definitely
Yeah.
monitoring. And in terms of Celix and things like that, that's in general, that's something like you said was touched on,
Yeah,
and
I
like I
mean
know I'm gonna really look
that's
into that.
economy. You don't want to
Yeah.
overflow it. I understand it. But I feel that either there needs to be more offers in the Celex, or there needs to be more police so that the Celex is a little bit less diluted. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure what you mean about the second point though, about the police in Celix, because I don't think those two
Well,
things.
if you have more police, then that means that there's less stuff getting sold on Celex. You know what I mean?
Uh,
What?
no,
So,
I,
so if there's more police, all right, more police means less crime, right?
yeah,
Means there's less stuff that you can sell on Celex. You
right,
follow me?
yeah,
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Less, uh, more police means that you can sell your stuff on Celex if you're a successful criminal. Or we just need to have more offerings on Celex. That's all I'm saying.
okay, and yeah, well, I'll personally look into the Celix
Okay.
system and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the Celex system is bad. It's actually really awesome because not a lot of people have that like in their servers. But there also needs to be moderation to it, and in my opinion, the moderation would come through police.
Right. I get what you're saying in terms of yeah. Okay. That's yeah. I already wrote it down to kind of take a look at it. So
All right, buddy. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next person. All right.
All right, buddy.
All right. Marco Polo.
Hey, thanks again for bringing me here. One last question before I'm moving out. It's about the house system. I got a house. It's been a month with the boys, and sometimes you want to bring some people inside the house to, get a beer, or just have a nice talk or something for some beautiful RP. But you need to put a padded wall all the time, and it used to be free back in the day. I know furniture back in the day used to be free, but you guys did an update. So now you have to actually use money from your own pocket to put any furnitures on the house. I totally get it. This is totally normal. But the padded wall, is there a way you guys are going to put a door one day so I can lock the door like with an e-muscle or something, so I can just like try to lock the door for my stash system? Because you need to put like everyone outside of the house. No one can see the padded wall, because if people see the padded wall, it's going to be bugging their eyes. They're going to need to fly out and fly in again, because the padded wall, it's not really seen in their eyes. So it's kind of really confusing. I have to push everyone out of the house all the time. I don't know if there's a way to bring a tequila lala or like a VU kind of door for inside the house system. I'm not too sure if it's going to be something to think about one day for an update. I'm not too sure. What do you guys think about
right,
that?
I get what you're saying about you're talking about how the rooms don't have doors on them, so you have to put
Yeah,
furniture up to block them. Yeah.
yeah.
That isn't something that we necessarily have a solution for right now, but it is something we can look into in the future. We do have plans
Yeah.
to have different interiors for the houses in the future, anyways, and that would change that system. But for the time being, yeah, I can try to see if there is a way to do some sort
Just
of
bring
lockable
a
doors.
door
But
for
it's yeah, I
unlock,
don't know.
lock. That would be great, man.
Yeah, that's just with the way the current furniture system works and the current interiors,
Yeah.
it might be tough to do, but I'll add it to the list of things because I get what you're
No, no
saying
problem,
about
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no problem.
or like I mean, in
The
your
padded wall
opinion,
is not a
would it
problem,
make it would a better temporary fix be the stash, for example, the stash, because right now the stash is available to anybody who's in the house.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
a better fix be then to just make the stash only available to the key holder?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
with the key holder. Oh, that'll be
Yeah.
crazy good, man. Yeah, even the door. Forget the door. If you can try to do something like that, that's even less trouble, less thing to do for
Yeah,
fucking
that's
on and
because
off
that's
door.
way
That'll be easy,
easier.
man.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, for sure, man. Oh yeah, of course. Oh,
Okay.
bro, thanks again. I'm bailing out. I got to work in kitchen. Thanks again,
All
man.
right. Okay. All right.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, we're gonna pull a couple more people up and have conversations, but we're gonna be nearing the end of this thing soon.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
I'm just curious about I've been messaging you a couple of times now. I don't know if you're addressing it now, but the butcher job, I know a job always has to be the worst job, but right now the butcher job is capped by like nighttime. You get injured, you have to go to the hospital, everything. It's like you're barely breaking even doing the job. I'm just curious if there's ways to like sell it except to only Burger Shot, because right now Vinny has monopoly on it, you know. He can basically sell it for a bite for whatever he wants, and you know you don't really get paid for it. There's a lot of cool things to the butcher job I really like, but right now it's just not worth doing.
I'd really like to point out that he buys all the materials from everybody. He sends his employers to go run the job. So uh, I'm just kind of wondering. I mean, I do understand that the chicken job does need to get, at least the fact that you get locked in needs to be fixed, but I don't think that it should be a spammable job. It keeps the uptake and it makes an actual function. If people aren't doing the job, places like Burger Shot cannot sell food.
Yeah, I
No,
get that.
no, I get what he's saying though, because right now the current job, you go up there and you get injured so quickly that you can only really do it for a low amount of time, and you only get so much products. So yeah, we can look at rebalancing that job because I have heard a lot of complaints about it, because of how easily you get injured doing it, and it forces you to either look into getting options to help with that, or to drive all the way down to Pillbox and stop your run there. So yeah, it's something we can look into though.
Yeah, and like it's already grand capped by you cannot do it at night, you know. So and it doesn't pay that well. So it would be nice if you just took a look at it and trying to rebalance either, yeah, some of the aspects. Okay, that's all.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No worries.
All right, Taco, you pick who we're bringing up next.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for bringing me on.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good, thanks. Let me know I'm outside on my phone if it's hard to hear.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay. I just had just a couple basic inquiries, mostly on the 24/7 convenience stores. So I just am curious on the thought process on disabling them.
Yeah, so the reason we have them disabled when the other places are open is because we want to promote the RP that actually going to a food place and actually interacting with other players to get your food has versus just walking into a 24/7 and grabbing sandwiches and water without interacting with anybody and kind of getting out of there. So that's why we have it the system we do, because a lot of people, their RP is working at Burger Shot or working at the pizza shop or the taco shop, and if we had the 24/7 shops open all the time, then nobody would actually be going to those places to get food, which kind of just completely eliminates their RP and it isn't really fair to them. It definitely is something that and we know that there is the case of some people not clocking out when they should be, and we are always monitoring that, because the only time those 24/7 stores should be closed is when there are people working at those other food places. So
Oh, okay, so they actually do open if the other places are closed.
yeah, if nobody's working at the other places, then the 24/7 shops are open. Yeah.
Okay, so I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, I just was curious about that. And then the second thing was like first aid kits. So a lot of it is I think it's just a little odd to me because I feel like the hospital will get a lot more foot traffic than it would need without the first aid kit. So like if I just get a scratch here and there or something, like nothing crazy, like a first aid kit should be fine.
Yeah, we talked about this at the last community meeting. Bandages
Sorry, I'm
are a
new.
thing. No, it's all right. Bandages are a thing that are in the city, which acts like similar basically to a first aid kit. So that is something that is that is possible to get in the city, but that's more of a find out and character kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's just
Yep,
not
yep.
there. Okay. Okay.
All right,
I
perfect.
guess that's all I wanted to know. They were just pretty basic.
All right, no worries. Thank you for
All
your
right,
time.
thanks.
Hello
Welcome
again. No, someone was talking about the butcher job, and it just made me think about the trucking. And I know some people that do the trucking, and either they're head pops or um, there's something being tested on with the city or whatnot. And those people lose quite a bit of their head time, trying to do those trucking jobs. So I was just curious. I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff. But, are staff members or admins or what angels, whatever we want to call it, are they able to get reimbursed for their time that they spent, or do they just kind of have to take it as a L and try again type thing? Same thing goes for like garbage truck runs, because I know sometimes that happens as well, or even a worst case scenario, somebody who's doing a trucking job gets in the middle of someone doing a robbery or something, and they get killed or they do something stupid. You know what I mean?
I've answered this question a few times in the last couple days.
Sorry.
No. Kind of just within tickets, a lot of people have asked. What I've told them is, if you have, obviously it's hard to get a clip of literally everything, but if there's a way to prove that yes, you were actually in the middle of the job when your head popped due to the city, we're more than willing to work with people. We don't want to just say, hey, you're screwed, deal with it. That's not the point, but the thing is there's a lot of people who abuse it, and they know that if they just ask, that we might just give. So it's if it's a true thing, and we want to keep it, fair for you guys. I mean, obviously, if your head pops due to your own like PC issues or something like that, it's not something that we will go through. But if we know we're having server issues and it happens, we'll be a little lenient. But that being said, if the server is continuously going down and people are continuously, the minute they get in, the first thing they do is go and grab another truck. That's when we don't do it, is because the server is having issues. Until we give you the clear go ahead, we normally don't like the continuously pulling out the truck, continuously losing money when it's easily preventable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know I see a lot of stuff in general. People saying, well, there goes AK, or oh, there goes my truck, or something like that. So, but yeah, that's good to know. I was just wondering, but yeah, I agree with you 100% that you obviously know that there's issues going on, or we're testing, or y'all are testing things and stuff like that's going on, and they shouldn't put themselves back. At that point, it's what do you call it? Insanity, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is if we're testing things, and we're doing restarts, we give a fair warning prior to. Obviously, if something happens that's outside of our control or our knowledge, and we have to do damage control, that's when we'll make it known through announcements. And another thing that was added today, which I don't know if we've talked about, there is a server status channel now that you can go to check on the status of these things. At that point is like, we're, like I said, we're lenient in some instances, but we try to protect it so it's not abused from other people. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for answering that. Appreciate
yeah, no
you.
problem.
All right. So, we're starting to near 8 o'clock, which is kind of what we're aiming to finish by, and it feels like we've kind of touched pretty much everything we can for this meeting. If anything, that you wanted to get across, didn't get across, you could always, post it in this chat during the weeks, or you can always reach out to a staff team and a ticket, or what we always recommend is using the GitHub suggestions for any sort of feature suggestions, anything like that, bugs. So that's all stuff that we can that our devs can work on, and they use that to really know what the community wants to see happen in the server. So, but yeah, so the next meeting will be 2 weeks from today on the 29th at 6 o'clock. Thank you everyone for coming today.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you all.